Hi everyone, welcome back. Today will be a video on the regions and their champion in Legends of Runeterra. Okay, so for the first region that we have is Demacia. Okay, for Demacia, the playstyle and the mechanics. Okay, for the playstyles, it actually centers around building armies of resilient units that can actually buff each other and maintain a persistent board presence. Okay, this region itself, right, allows you to influence the flow of battle by forcing combat. Okay, so for the Marseille itself, right, we should talk about certain keyword, okay, which is their unique. Okay, firstly we have is actually scout. If you have seen my other video on the keyword explanation, you should have already know that scout. Okay, for this unit, right, the first time the only scout units attack each round, it ready your attack. Okay, so for this, if you attack on your first time using only scout unit, you can attack for the second time. That's for the scout. And we will also have this keyword tough. Tough basically reduce 1 damage from any source. Okay, this is for the tough. And the next one we have will be challenger. Demacia actually relies on challenger pretty much because there's plenty card we actually have effect when one of our own ally die. Okay, and this is one of the pretty unique way of playing. Okay, for challenger, and it also has this keyword barrier. Barrier is a keyword whereby the effect, if you have a barrier on one of your units or your followers, you can actually block for 1 turn or 1 attack, meaning to say when you have barrier, when you take damage, you actually take none. Okay, so this is the barrier effect. One of the cards that I want to highlight will be Captured, which is under the Mage Seeker Investigator. It will create Detain once you have cast a 6+ core spell this turn, in this game, and you get Detain. Detain is a fast spell, which is an ally captures a unit. Okay, so this is the only captured card we have in this game, and it's only in this region in Demacia. Okay, and also there's this Purify. Purify actually remove all text and keywords from a follower. Okay, so these are the few keywords that you may find in the Demacia deck. Okay, so right now let's talk about the champion. For the champion we have Lucian. First up we have Lucian. Okay, this champion is having a quick attack. Okay, and the level up criteria is he has seen 4+ allies or an ally Sena Sentinel of Light die. Okay, so once it level up, right, it does not have quick attack anymore. Okay, and it will have a double attack. And the effect it has is each round, the first time an ally dies, you rally. Okay, as you all know, rally from my previous video, I have actually explained rally actually gives you an attack token when you have none. Okay, and I mentioned earlier on, this Demacia region actually relies, not say rely, maybe strategize on having your ally die. Okay, so that's why when you see Lucian, each round, the first time an ally die, you rally. Okay, and for the champion spell card, Lucian's Relentless Pursuit, okay, it gives you rally. Okay, and it's a fast spell. And after you cast this, you can shuffle a Lucian into your deck. And for the Sena, Sentinel of Light, this is the one card you must have if you have Lucian. Okay, because instead of him seeing 4 ally die, you'd rather see Sena die instead. It's the fastest way. Okay, and for Sena, right, it has quick attack. Okay, and if let's say, actually they complement each other. Okay, because for Sena, the effect is the first time she see an ally Lucian die, she will be granted a +1/+1 and a double attack. Okay, so besides having a quick attack, she will have a double attack as well. So they pretty much complement each other. And for the next one that we have, the next champion is Queen. Queen is a scout, and when she is summoned, she summons a Vowlor. Okay, the Vowlor is actually a bird-like creature with a challenger and a scout. Okay, and the criteria for Queen to level up is you must be seen attacking 4 times. Okay, 4 times. So the moment when you level up, once you attack, you summon Vowlor, challenging the strongest enemy. So when they attack, Vowlor is summoned, and Vowlor will challenge the strongest enemy. And for the champion spell card will be Queen's Blinding Assault. It's a slow spell, and it actually summons Vowlor and shuffle a Queen into your deck. So this is for Queen. The next one we have is Lux. Lux comes with a barrier, and the criteria to level up will be she has seen you cast 6 plus mana of spell, and when she level up, create a Final Spark in your hand. So what does Final Spark does? Okay, so Final Spark is actually a slow spell. Okay, Overwhelm, and it deals 4 to an enemy unit, and this is a fleeting card. Okay, this fleeting meaning to say, right, once your round end, this card will be gone. Okay, so after you level up, the Lux will still have barrier, and when she see you cast 6 plus mana of spell, it will be creating another Final Spark for you. So Final Spark is actually pretty good for removing units. Okay, to clear units. And for the champion spell card will be Lux Prismatic Barrier. It is a burst spell, and actually give an ally barrier this round, and you shuffle a Lux into your deck. Okay, so this Lux. The next one we have is Garen. Garen, I think everyone should know him because it's given to you at the start of the game. For Garen, right, it has regeneration. Okay, and to level is pretty simple. You just strike it twice. You use Garen to strike it twice. And once you level up, whenever the round starts, you rally. So even if your attack turn finish, the opponent's attacking turn, the round start, you'll get rally. Okay, so for the champion card would be Garen's Judgment. It's a fast spell. So a battling ally strikes all battling enemies and shuffle a Garen into your deck. So this for Garen. Okay, and the last one we have over here is Fiora. Fiora is a champion with a challenger, and the criteria to level up will be she has killed 2 enemies. Okay, and once you level up, when you kill 4 enemies and you survive, you win the game instantly. So this Fiora is actually quite an interesting card itself, because right, you have to kill 4 enemies and survive. Okay, which pretty much when it comes to the champion spell, Fiora's reposite is a burst spell and give an ally a +3, +0 and a barrier this round, and shuffle Fiora into your deck. So pretty much for Fiora to hit this criteria to win the game, you need to have a lot of cards that or spells that actually gives her barrier or more health. Okay, so this is for Fiora. So this is the 5 champion of Demacia. Okay, and we shall move on to our next region. Okay, and for the next region, we have Freylord. Okay, for Freylord, the playstyle mechanics, right, it actually uses this IC effect, crowd control effect, okay, and mana ramping mechanics to finish the match off with powerful late game track. Okay, it has actually the biggest units in the game, okay, the biggest units in the game. So we shall talk about some keywords in this mechanics and playing style of the Freylord. Okay, Freylord, okay, it freeze. Okay, it is the only region that has Frostbite. A card mechanic that actually sets an enemy unit power to 0. Okay, so you have unit like Iceveil Archer. When you play it, you Frostbite enemy. You have Shattered. Shatter is a slow spell whereby you deal 4 to an enemy unit if it has 0 power. Otherwise, it'll be Frostbite. And also like Winter's Breath. Winter's Breath actually kills all enemy with 0 power. Okay, and then it Frostbite all enemy. Okay, so this is a region which has frostbite. Okay, and also one thing is mana ramping. Mana ramping means to say, right, you gain an extra mana gem for that round or maybe this turn. So cards we have will be like the Wielding Stones, which actually start off round, you get an extra mana gem this round. And Catalyst of Aeons is a burst spell, which actually gives you an empty mana gem and heal your Nexus for 3. So these are the two examples. So we actually also have units like when they survive a damage, you'll be granted a certain amount of damage, like Scar Mother. Okay, it has Overwhelm, and when she survives the damage, grant her a +3 damage. And also Unscar River, when she survives, also grant a 3 damage. And this Scatin Stephen, survive damage, also a grant 3 damage. So these are the unique mechanics that Freylord have. So let's talk about champions. Okay, first champion we have here is Anivia. Anivia actually when you attack, you deal 1 to all enemies and the enemy nexus. Okay, it has the last breath keyword, which actually revive him, and Anivia transform into Ignivia. Okay, to level up, you just need to be enlightened, which is pretty easy, straightforward. You have 10 max mana. Okay, once you level up, okay, your attack right becomes deal 2 to all enemy and enemy nexus. The last breath ability is the same. Revive me, transform into Ignivia. Okay, and for the Ignivia, right, to level up is actually at a round start. If you are enlightened, you transform back into Ignivia and level up. Okay, so for Ignivia to come into effect, you have to be enlightened at the start of the round. And for the champion spell is Anivia's Harsh Wind, a burst spell. You frostbite 2 enemy, shuffle Anivia into the deck. Okay, so that's for Anivia. The next one we have, I think everyone has seen it quite commonly, will be Braum. Braum is actually a champion card with 5 health, 0 power. Okay, but he has regeneration and challenger. The level up criteria is to survive 10 total damage. Okay, that's pretty easy. And once you level up, you get 7 health, still a 0 power, but when you survive any damage, you summon a Mighty Poro. Okay, Mighty Poro is a 3 health, 3 damage unit with Overwhelm. Okay, and the champion spell card is Braum's Take Heart. It's a burst spell which actually grants a damage ally a +3/+3. Usually for me myself, I will usually use this. Okay, there is a non-champion version of Take Heart, which actually have same effect, grant a damage ally +3/+3. Usually I will be giving it to this champion. Okay, so when I challenge people, I have 3 power. I can damage unit and I get to regen at the end of the turn. Okay, and for the next we have is Ash. Ash is also commonly seen. Okay, Ash is a champion whereby when they attack you frostbite the strongest enemy. This effect or ability is great. Okay, and the level up criteria is you frostbite 5 enemies, and when you level up, you can create a crystal arrow on the deck. So when Ash level up, okay, when she attacks, same thing, frostbite the strongest enemy, but enemy with 0 power cannot block. They won't be able to block as long as they have 0 power. Okay, so when you're towards the late game, this is actually quite important, the blocking part. If you can't block, basically it means you are stuck. Okay, and for the champion spell, we have the Ash Flash Freeze, a burst spell which actually frostbite an unit. Okay, and shuffle an Ash into your deck. And when you level up, you get this Crystal Arrow. Crystal Arrow is actually a slow spell whereby you frostbite an enemy and all other enemies with 3 or less health, and you get to draw 1. Usually for me, I will frost if let's say the units have, let's say 4 units, 3 is 3 or less health, but 1 is on higher health. I will cast the Crystal Arrow to freeze or to frostbite the highest health, okay, and the rest will get frostbite also. So basically all the 4 units will get frostbitten. Okay, so this is how you usually play. Okay, so our next hero over here will be Tryndamere. Okay, Tryndamere is a, I could say, a very power unit. It has overwhelm, and to level up, you just have to die. Okay, when he were to die, instead of dying, he level up. And once he level up, Tryndamere will actually get fearsome as well, besides overwhelm. Okay, this is a power pack champion. And the champion card is Tryndamare's Battle Fury. Is a burst spell. It grants an enemy +8/+4 and shuffle back the champion into your deck. Okay, so this is pretty much a power champion. Okay, and for the last champion that we have is Sejuani. Sejuani is a overwhelmed champion, whereby when you play, you give an enemy frostbite and vulnerable this round. Okay, to level up, you have to damage the enemy nexus in 5 different rounds. Okay, that's the criteria. And when you level up, okay, this play is give an enemy frostbite and vulnerable this round, but the first time that this champion seal damage the enemy nexus each round, you frostbite all the units, all the enemies. Okay, that means you can have a spell or a unit that actually damage the opponent's nexus. Okay, and it will automatically frostbite all enemies. So this is a pretty powerful card. Okay, powerful champion. And for the champion spell, we have Sejuani's Fury of the North. It's a burst spell. It actually gives an ally +4/+4 this round and shuffle the champion back into your deck. Okay, so this is for the Freljord region, the 5 champion. And for the next region, we have Ionia. Okay, Ionia playstyle and mechanics. It has tricky mechanics that actually allow you to outmaneuver your opponents with stealthy tactics and spells that bounce friendly and enemy units back to your hand. If you know what I'm saying, it will be recall. Okay, so let's go through some of Ionia's unique keyword or gameplay mechanic. Okay, Ionia has keyword, not say keyword like recall and stun. Okay, recall is to actually put the unit back into the hand. Okay, and stun is actually to stop your opponent from attacking or blocking. And it also has barrier. And they have one card which is, as of now, is the only counter spell in this game, and that is deny. Okay, deny is a fast spell which can stop a fast spell, slow spell, or a skill. Okay, when you are using Ionia region, this is a must-have card in your deck. As of now, this is the only counter spell. And one more unique thing is Enlighten. Okay, they have some card which actually comes into effect when you're Enlightened. Okay, cards like Insight of Ages. Okay, it is a burst spell which actually creates a random spell in hand. Okay, but when you're Enlightened, it creates 2 instead. Okay, so this is how this region works. And now moving on, we will go to the champions of the Ionia region. The first one we have is Lee Sin. Lee Sin is a champion whereby when you cast a spell, he will be given a challenger this round, and if you cast another one, it will have the barrier. Okay, to level up, you need to cast 7+ spells. Okay, when you level up Lee Sin, okay, whenever you cast a spell, it actually gives him a challenger. You cast another one, it gives him barrier, but he will Dragon Rage enemies that he has challenged. Okay, what Dragon Rage does is right, it kicks the enemy into their nexus, striking both of them. But if the enemy survive, it will get recall. Okay, and for the champion spell will be Lee Sin's Dragon's Rage. Same effects, Dragon Rage, just that, shuffle Lee Sin into your deck. Okay, and for the next one we have will be Zed. Zed is a champion with quick attack, and when he attack, he summon an attacking living shadow with his stats. Okay, the level up criteria is he and a shadow have strike the enemy nexus twice. Okay, when you level up, you still have the quick attack, and the effect still the same, the living shadow. with the stats and keywords. So as you can see, right, for Z before he level up, it only has stats. But when the moment Z level up, the Living Shadow gets the keyword as well, in which this case is Quick Attack. So before level up, the Living Shadow does not have Quick Attack. Okay, so when you level up, the Living Shadow will get Quick Attack. Okay, and so for the champion spell will be Z's Shadow Swift. For this, right, it's a fast spell. It actually recalls an ally to summon the Living Shadow in its place. Shuffle your champion back into your deck. Okay, so recall your own ally. If you notice that your own ally is going to die, but you need him or her. Okay, you cast this spell, you get a recall. It will sort of like get a substitute in the place. In this case, it's Living Shadow. The next one we have is Yasuo. Yasuo has Quick Attack, and when he sees an enemy gets stunned or recall, he deal 2 damage to it. Okay, basically he must be in play to get this effect. The level up criteria is you have actually stun recall 5 plus unit. So for this level up criteria, he does not need to be in play. But for the effect of the dealing damage, he must be in play. So take note of that. And when he level up, he will still get a crit attack. But when an opponent gets stunned or recall, he strike it. Strike it means say, instead of the 2 damage, it now becomes a 5 damage. Okay, and for the champion spell will be Yasuo's Steel Tempest. It's a fast spell, stun an attacking unit. Okay, you shuffle the champion back into your deck. For the next one we have is Karma. Karma is having this effect round end, okay, and it actually creates a random spell in your hand. To level up, you need to be enlightened. So when Karma Enlightened level up, when you play a spell, you cast it again on the same target. And for the champion spell card, Karma's Insight of Ages is a burst spell, and I have touched on it just now. This actually create a random spell, but when it enlighten, you create 2 instead. Okay, then you shuffle Karma into the deck. And for our last champion of Ionia, we have Shen. Shen actually is considered a support, okay, because due to the keyword, when you support, right, you give your ally a barrier. Okay, remember in my previous video, the keyword explanation, your support, okay, the one which want to get the effect has to be placed on the right hand side of the supporting unit when they attack. Okay, so the unit has to be on the right side of Shen to get the barrier. Okay, and when you level up, the criteria to level up is you have seen barrier 4 times. Your allies gain barrier 4 times. So that's how his level up criteria. And when you level up, the support still the same. You give your barrier to a supported ally. But when that ally get a barrier, okay, it gets a +3, +0 this round. So instead of giving a barrier, it gives damage as well. Okay, and for the champion spell is Shen's Stand United. It's a burst spell. You swap 2 allies, give them barrier this round. Okay, so basically if you have these 2 units that you want to swap during your attacking or blocking, okay, that maybe you want to have barrier, you can cast this. Okay, so that's it for the Ionia champions. For the next region, we have Noxus. Okay, Noxus playstyle and mechanics, right, revolve around destroying opponents with relentless aggression, often sacrificing defense for more offensive power. Okay, you will have many ways to inflict damage with your units or with direct damage from spell. So let's go through some of the mechanics and playstyle that Noxus have. Okay, you will be inflicting damages on allies for value. Okay, example, you have this transfusion, a burst spell which actually deal 1 to your ally to give another ally a +2/+2 this round. Okay, and also there's unit which when they survive damage, it actually do something. Okay, we have Crimson Disciple, which actually survive damage and deal 2 to the enemy nexus, and the other one is Crimson Curator. When he survive damage, create a random Crimson unit in your hand. So this is their unique playstyle, and they have few units that are aggression over everything, like the Legion Rearguard cannot be blocked. Okay, one mana cost, you can deal 3 damage. And also this unit, Trifarian Glory Seeker, okay, which can't block. With a 2 cost, it only has 1 health but 5 power. So this unit having Challenger, this can be used to clear a lot of your opponent's high health, high damage unit, because it's just for 2 mana cost, so this is pretty good. And also about Noxus is about overwhelming them. You overwhelm an enemy with Noxus. They have quite a few number of overwhelm keyword. Example, we have Battering Ram, and Captain Faron. Even your champion Darius has Overwhelm as well. And so we move on to the champions of the Noxus region. So for the first champion we have is Katarina. Katarina has crit attack. When you play, you create a Fleeting Blade Edge. Blade's Edge is actually a fast spell which actually deal 1 to anything, and the criteria to level up is when she strike once, but when she level up, recall her. Okay, it's very unique, and when she level up, when you play it, rarely. When you strike, recall. Okay, so for the champion spell will be Katarina's Death Lotus. It's a fast spell which deals 1 to all battling units, and then you shuffle the champion back into your deck. For the next one, we have Darius, which has Overwhelm. To level up, your enemy nexus has to be 10 or lesser health. Okay, and when you level up, you get 10 damage, 10 power. Okay, so Darius is actually a pretty simple but straightforward powerful card. And for the champion spell, we have Darius Decimate, which is a slow spell, and you deal 4 direct damage to the enemy nexus. And thereafter, you will shuffle the champion into your deck. Next, we have Vladimir. Vladimir has this effect whereby when you attack, each other attacking ally, okay, you'll get 1 damage, but your enemy will get 1 damage as well. So example, if you have 4 other attacking allies, 4 of them will have 1 damage dealt to it, and for the enemy nexus, it will be dealing 4. Okay, so for how many attacking allies you have, the enemy will be dealt that amount. Okay, and in order to level up, you need to have 6 plus allies surviving damage. And when you level up, you will get regeneration. As for the attack effect, still the same. And for this, right, the champion spell card will be the Vladimir's Transfusion. Okay, you'll be dealing 1 to an ally and giving another a +2/+2 this round. And you will shuffle your champion into the deck. Okay, so that's it for Vladimir. And the next champion we have is Draven. Draven has quick attack. When you play or strike it, you create a Spinning Axe in hand. A Spinning Axe, right, is actually a burst spell, 0 mana cost, and to play it, you have to discard 1. But you give your ally a +1 this round. And to level up, you will have struck a total of 2 times with Spinning Axe. Okay, I've struck with 2 total Spinning Axe. And when he level up, okay, it will get Overwhelmed. Okay, so initially he only has quick attack. When he level up, he will get the Overwhelm as well. But when he play or strike, he will create 2 Spinning Axe, whereby the one before is only 1. And for the spell card is Draven's Willing Death. It's a fast spell with 3 costs. A battling ally strikes a battling enemy, and then you shuffle Draven into your deck. And for the last hero, we have Swain. Swain has Fearsome, and when you Nexus strike, you deal 3 to an enemy Nexus. And the criteria to level up will be dealt 12 non-combat damage. Okay, when they say by non-combat damage is example like a Nexus strike, but besides that, the effect, the deal 3 is considered a non-combat damage. When Swain level up, okay, the effect a bit of changes. This effect is when you deal non-combat damage to the enemy nexus, you stun the strongest back row enemy. And when you nexus strike, you deal 3 to all enemy and the enemy nexus. Okay, so this is a pretty strong card when you level up because of the nexus strike. So you will try to make sure you nexus strike it so you can deal 3 to all enemy as well as the enemy nexus. Okay, so when you try to deal non-combat damage as well, you get to stun. Okay, so in one turn maybe you can deal 2 or 3 non-combat damage. You will stun their strongest back row enemy. Okay, so maybe they can't block when you are trying to attack. For the champion spell card is Swain's Ravenous Flock. It's a fast spell. You actually deal 4 unit to a damage if it's damaged or stun. So basically the 4 will be dealt to a unit if it's already been damaged or stunned. And then you shuffle your champion back into your deck. So that's it for the Noxus region. So for the next region we have is Piltover and Zone. Okay, for the playstyle mechanics, right, it's a premier spell slinging regions with units that benefit from spell casts and spells that generate units. So basically this revolve around spell card more. Okay, so let us go through the few mechanics. Okay, there is this few cards whereby, like example, Plaza Guardian. Plaza Guardian is actually a 10 mana cost with quick attack. Okay, but as you can see, it reduces the cost by 1 for each spell card you have cast this game. Okay, so like what I mentioned earlier on, the mechanic and playstyle, it actually revolve around spell cards. Okay, and you benefit from it. So this is one card that actually benefit from it. And the other one will be Corina Veraza. When you play this, right, you discard the top 5 cards of your deck and you deal 1 to all enemies for each spell card discarded. If let's say the top 5 card you have is all spell, you deal 5 to every enemies. Okay, you also have spell cards that actually summon unit. Okay, we have Scrap Dash Assembly. Okay, a slow spell which summon 2 Scrap Scattler, and an unlicensed innovation, okay, which summons a illegal contraption. And you have some spells which actually you could say you blow up stuff. Okay, we have Static Shock, a fast spell which actually deal 1 to 2 enemy, you draw 1 card. Okay, and a True Shot Barrage which actually deals 3 to an enemy, 2 to another, and 1 to another, a total of 6 damage. And you will have a few other options like reload mana. You can sort of like get your mana back. So I have 2 examples over here. We have this Eager Apprentice, which actually when he summoned, you refill 2 spell mana. And also this spell card, Flash of Brilliance. Okay, you create a random spell in hand and refill your spell mana. Okay, so actually basically these 2 cards is actually to refill your spell mana so that you can cast more. Okay, so we shall move on to the champions. The first champion you have is Jinx. Jinx is having crit attack. To level up, your hand need to be empty. Okay, and when you level up, at a round start, you draw 1. Every round, the first time, right, you empty your hand. You create a Super Mega Death Rocket in hand. Okay, and what this Super Mega Death Rocket does is actually to deal 4 to the enemy nexus and 1 to all other enemies. But this is a fleeting card, so meaning to say you have to use this before the round ends. Okay, and for the champion card, we have Jinx Get Excited. It's a fast spell. To play this, you need to discard 1. You deal 3 to anything, and then you shuffle Jinx back into your deck. The next one is V. V is a challenger with Tough. Okay, when she is played or in your hand, grant her a +1 when you play another card to a maximum of +8. Okay, to a maximum of +8. So you just need to play 8 cards, then you will get max. Okay, to level up, you have to strike for 10 or more. Okay, but when she level up, when she strike a unit while attacking, she deal 5 to the enemy nexus. Okay, and for the champion spell will be V's Vault Breaker. It's a burst card which actually give an ally +2/+0 this round, and you create a fleeting Vault Breaker in hand, and you shuffle the champion back into your deck. So besides the V's Vault Breaker, the champion spell card, you create another fleeting Vault Breaker with a similar effect but without the shuffling of the champion into your deck. And for the next one we have is Israel. Okay, it's an elusive champion. With this effect, Nexus Strike, you create a fleeting Mystic Shot in hand. And when you level up, okay, in order to level up, you need to target enemies 8 times. Units 8 times. Okay, when you level up, same thing, when you Nexus Strike, you create a fleeting Mystic Shot in hand, but when you cast a spell, you deal 2 to the enemy nexus. Okay, and we have the champions card, Israel Mystic Shot. Okay, you deal 2 to anything. So when you level up, basically if you cast this Mystic Shot, right, you deal 2 to the enemy nexus. Because of your champion's level up effect, you will deal another 2. Okay, because this is a spell. And next, we will have Teemo. Okay, for Teemo is an elusive champion. When you Nexus Strike, you plant 5 Poison Path Cap on random cards in the enemy deck. Okay, how this Poison Path Cap works is, it will actually plant Poison Path Cap, okay, on the enemy's card. And when they draw, if that card has any attached Poison Path Cap, it will deal damage to their Nexus straight away. Okay, so in example to say, I could say it is the lesser card the enemies has, the more Poison Path Cap he has, okay, your opponent has, the chances of them getting more damage. Okay, it's not only restricted to 1 on 1 card. If you have lesser card and more Poison Path Cap, that 1 card he draw may be 2, 3 or even more. And for the criteria for Teemo to level up, you need to plant 15 plus Poison Path Cap. And when you level up, when you Nexus Strike, you don't give them 5 anymore. You double the amount in the enemy's deck. Okay, so this is actually quite good. It has an interesting way of playing. You can see my video on the Expedition mode. I've actually drafted a Teemo. Okay, because I don't have a Teemo with me on hand, and luckily I get to draft it and it's quite fun. For those who have this, please tell me in the comments below how you build it, or maybe you can give me tips like how this should be played. And for the champions card, spell card, we have Teemo's Mushroom Cloud. Okay, it's a burst spell. You actually plant 5 Poison Puff Cat, okay, on the random cards in the enemy deck, and you shuffle Teemo back into your deck. Okay, the last one we have for the region is Heimerdinger. Okay, Heimerdinger, right? When you cast a spell, you create a fleeting turret in hand with equal cost. It costs 0 this round. Okay, for the turret, you have from 0 mana cost to 8 mana cost. Okay, as you can see, all of these 9, okay, all have different health, abilities, power. Okay, but as you can see, all of them are having 1 health besides the T-Hex. T-Hex has 8 health. There's a pattern in it. For 0 mana cost, it will have 0 power all the way up to 8. So as you can see, the Mark 0, Mark 1, Mark 2, it actually represents their power all the way up to T-Hex. Even for Mark 7 has 7 power. So we go through the turret one by one. We have Mark 0, Wind Up Shredder, Challenger. Mark 1, Range Bot. Okay, we have Mark 2, Evolution Turret with Tough. Mark 3, Floor Beacon with Elusive. Mark 4, Apex Turret with Fearsome. And Mark 5, Rocket Blaster with Quick Attack. Mark 6, Storm Lobber, Overwhelm. Mark 7, Armor Stomper with Barrier. And the last one is T-Hex. Okay, so in order to level up, right, he has to be seen summoning 12 plus turrets. Okay, 12. And when he level up, you cast a spell, you create a fleeting turret in hand with equal cost, and you grant it a +1/+1 round, and it costs 0 this round. Okay, with a +1/+1. And for the champion spell will be Heimerdinger's Progress Day. It's a burst spell, you draw 3, then reduce those card cost by 1. You shuffle the champion into your deck. Okay, so that's it for this region. Okay, for the Playover and Zone region, and we shall move on to the next region. Okay, for the next region, we have is Shadow Owls. For Shadow Owls, right, the playstyle mechanic actually focus on sacrificing units that have benefits when they die, and also resurrecting units for the continuous value. Okay, we shall talk more about it. Okay, for this, right, it can actually so-called manipulate death and resurrection. Okay, what do I mean by that is they have a lot of last breath card, okay, which can not say a lot. Okay, there's this last breath card whereby you can actually summon another when he dies, and also you can gain other benefit when an ally dies. Okay, some good example would be Curse Keeper. Okay, the last breath is you summon an Escape Abomination. Okay, and you can have cards like Phantom Prankster. When the ally dies, you deal 1 to the enemy nexus. Okay, and you also have cards like Ravenous Butcher. To play him, you kill an ally. So this few cards is pretty good because, right, there's this one unit called the Undying. The last breath is revive him at the start of the round and grant him a +1/+1 for each time he has died. Okay, so basically to have this, when you attack, for when I play, when I attack, right, people usually won't block it. Okay, they won't block it at all. That's for sure. Even for me, when I'm against it, I wouldn't block it because every time he dies, he revive on the next start round and he get more damage, extra 1. Okay, so cards like this, right, you need to have some support cards to kill yourself. Okay, example, you have this spell called Limbs Beyond. You kill your own ally, you get to draw 2 cards. Okay, and also you have Chronicle of Rune. To play him, you can kill an ally and then revive it. So what I notice is for this Chronicler of Rune, if example you were to kill the Undying, get to revive 1 Undying, okay, and on the start of the round, you get the Undying which has died and revive again. So you will have 2 Undying instead of 1. Okay, but of course, the one that was revived on a turn don't have the extra damage. Okay, that means say when you play this Chronicler of Rune, you select the Undying, straight away you have another Undying with the default 2 power, 2 health. But on the next start round, the actual Undying will return with a 3/3. Okay, so this is one example. And also, when your unit die, the Phantom Prankster actually deals 1 to the enemy nexus. which is great. It's a direct damage. And for Shadow Owls, they have card will actually drain health. Okay, you will have card like Valfist, which drains 1. Okay, Grasp of the Undying, drain 3, and the Withering of Will, which drain 1 from all enemy units. When you drain, you heal your Nexus for the amount damage that you have inflicted to them. And they also has the largest number of removal cards. Removal meaning instantly kill. Okay, example like Black Spear. If your ally die this round, you deal 3 to an enemy unit. And you also have Vengeance, which kills a unit straight away. And you also have another one, the Ruination, to kill all units, including yours. So this is like the ultimate last resort card you use. So let's move on to the champions. The first champion we have is Trash. It has Challenger, and for him to level up, he needs to see 6 unit die. 6 units, it can be yours, it can be the opponent's one. Okay, when he level up, the very first time he attack in this game, okay, he summon another attacking champion from your deck or your hand. So this effect only has one time. Okay, as the effect mentioned, the first time I attack this game, summon another attacking champion from your deck or hand. Okay, so this is a one time off in the whole game. And for the champion spell will be the Trash, the box. It deals 3 damage to each enemy that was summoned this round and suffer your champion into your deck. So this is good for clearing those small units with low spell cost, summon cost. Okay, the next one I have is Callista. Callista has Fearsome, and to level up, she has to see 3 allies die. So as compared to Trash, that is 6 unit, but for Callista, it's 3 allies. Okay, and when she level up, each round, the first time she attack, revive an attacking ephemeral copy of the strongest dead ally follower. And this round, they are bonded, and the ephemeral unit which was revived takes damage for her. Okay, meaning to say, example, my dead strongest ally is, let's say, Trash. Okay, so as you know, right, Trash has 7 health and 4 damage when he level up already. And they share the damage, meaning to say when Callista attack, and the damage actually is 6, which is greater than 4. Okay, Callista will not die, but instead, Trash will take their damage instead. Okay, and Callista damage will still go through. So this is a very good card once it's level up. Okay, and for the champion spell will be Callista Black Spear. Okay, this same. Okay, if an ally die this round, you deal 3 unit, you shuffle the champion back. So as you can see, right, for both Trash and Callista, is actually they want to see more unit dying. So for the next one you have is Elise. She has Fearsome. When you attack, you summon an attacking spiderling. To level up, at the round start, you must have 3 other spiders. Okay, and when you evolve, you become Spider Queen Elise with Fearsome and Challenger. And your other spider allies will have Challenger and Fearsome as well. Okay, for the champion spell card will be Elise Crawling Sensation. It's a slow spell. Effect is if an ally dies this round, you summon 2 spiderling. Shuffle the champion back into your deck. And the next one we have is Hecarim. Hecarim is having Overwhelm. When he attack, summon 2 attacking Spectral Riders. To level up, you have already attacked with 7 ephemeral allies. Okay, and when he level up, your ephemeral allies will have a +3, +0. Okay, same thing when attack, you will summon 2 attacking Spectral Rider. And for the champion spell card will be Hecarim's Onslaught of Shadow. It's a slow spell, and he summoned 2 Spectral Riders. And for the last hero of this region will be Maokai. Okay, the first time you play another ally each round, you toss 2 and summon a sapling. Okay, to level up, your units have died or your cards have been tossed 25 times. Okay, when you level up, you gain the regeneration keyword. Okay, when this champion level up, you obliterate the enemy deck, leaving 4 non-champion. You obliterate the enemy deck, leaving 4 non-champion. So that means to say, right, the deck that your opponent have is only 4, and 4 of it are non-champion. Okay, at the start of every round, you summon a sapling. Okay, and for sapling itself is ephemeral unit with Challenger, 1 health, 2 power. And for the champion spell card with Maokai's Sap Magic, it's a burst spell. You toss 3, you heal your allies 3, you shuffle Maokai into your deck. Okay, so when I talk about toss earlier on and dip, this actually works well with another champion. Okay, and this champion is from another region. Okay, because for Maokai is having toss, and when you toss, usually people who play toss will actually be playing the deep as well. So because these two work very well together. Okay, as for the other hero, another champion, okay, please continue watching and I will touch on it later on. Okay, and for the last region, the next and the last region will be Bilgewater. Okay, the mechanics and playstyle of it actually revolve around pirates and sea monster. Okay, and going deep as per explained on my previous this region, the Shadow Isles. Okay, we shall talk more about it. Okay, for this right, they have this mechanic which is pretty interesting. It's called Plunder. Okay, as Plunder you all know right, this will only trigger when you have actually damaged the enemy nexus this round. So after the enemy nexus has been damaged this round and you play this Plunder, then you will get the effect. Okay, so this is one of it. An example of it will be the Jagged Taskmaster. Okay, so once you have damaged the enemy nexus and you cast and you play Jagged Taskmaster, okay, you'll be granting all your one cost allies anywhere, everywhere, a +1/+0. Okay, when they mean by everywhere, meaning to say it can be in your hand, in your deck, future summon. Okay, so that's the Plunder. And also another one will be the Pilfered Goods. Okay, it's a burst spell which actually draw a card from your enemy deck, but if it's Plunder, you draw one more. And next we have is Deep. Deep is what I have mentioned on the previous region, Shadow Isles. Okay, Toss and Deep work perfectly well together. Okay, and for deep right, you will have a +3/+3. Okay, with the keyword when you have 15 or lesser in your deck. Okay, there is quite a few number. Okay, of these units with the deep keyword. Okay, one of the example would be the Devourer of the Depth, and the other one will be the Attune. Okay, for this right, you basically you refill one spell mana. Okay, when you summon it or play it. Okay, one example will be Coral Creatures. Okay, and the other will be the Z Sprayfin. So these are the two examples of the keyword Attune, which actually grants you a refill spell mana after you summon it. Okay, so we shall move on to the champion. The first champion is the one which I mentioned on the Shadow Isles, the Nautilus. Okay, Nautilus is one of the hero or champion which actually works well with Maokai. Why? Because right, when he level up, you copy or toss allies that cost 4+ into your deck, and the criteria to level up is when you are deep. Okay, it has tough and fearsome. Even though it has 0 power, but when you level up, it has 13 power. And all your sea monster allies will cost 4 or less. Okay, so this is a very good card when you work with the Maokai. Okay, and for the champion spell will be the Nautilus Riptide. It's a fast spell. You stun an enemy, shuffle the enemy into the deck, okay, when you have this champion Nautilus, and then you shuffle a Nautilus into your deck. And the next rule he have is Gangplank. He has Overwhelm, and when he is summoned, summon a Powder Keg. Powder Keg is actually immobile. It has vulnerable. Okay, the effect is when the Powder Kegs actually stack, all your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. Destroy him, okay, when your spell or skills damage enemy. And for Gangplank, to level up, you need to damage the enemy nexus in 5 different rounds. When he level up, when he is summoned and the round start, summon a Powder Keg. Okay, when he attack, damage 1 to all enemies and enemy nexus. So basically when he attack, he deal all enemies and enemy nexus a 1 damage. Okay, and for the champion spells will be Gangplank's Parley. It's a slow spell, it deals 1 to anything. If this kills it, you deal 1 to the enemy nexus. And you shuffle the champion back into your deck. The next hero will be Twisted Fate with crit attack. When you play it, you play a Destiny card. And to level up, he must be seen drawing 8 cards. Okay, and the Destiny card, right, will be a blue card, red card, or a gold card. For the blue card, right, it refill 1 spell mana, you draw 1. For the red card, you deal 1 to all enemy and the enemy nexus. And for the gold card, you deal 2 and stun the strongest enemy. Okay, so this is one of the Destiny card you can choose when you play Twisted Fate. And when you level up, okay, Twisted Fate effect change, and it becomes the first 3 times I see you play a card each round, I play a Destiny card. And for the champion spell will be Twisted Fates, pick a card. is a burst spell. You shuffle a card from your hand into your deck to draw 3. It has fleeting at the next round start. Okay, so basically you shuffle a card into your hand, you draw 3, okay, which has fleeting at the next round start, and then you shuffle the Twisted Fate into your deck. The next one will be Feast. Feast is when you cast a spell, you give him elusive and stop all enemy spells and skills targeting him. To level up, you have cast 6 spells, and when Feast level up, okay, and you cast a spell, it gives him elusive and stop all enemy spells and skills targeting him. But on top of that, he has Nexus Strike, which creates a Chum the Waters in hand. So for the Chums the Waters, it's actually a slow spell, which actually grant one of your enemy vulnerable, and you summon Longtooth. Okay, Longtooth is a unit with 1 health, 5 power, and it has Overwhelm. And now we move on to the last hero of Belchwater, which is Misfortune. Okay, when allies attack, you deal 1 to battling enemies and enemy nexus. To level up, she has to sin attack 4 times. And when she level up, she gain the Overwhelm. Okay, and when allies attack, right, she deal 1 3 times to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. Okay, which is to say, before she level up, she only deal 1 to all the battling enemies and enemy nexus. And when she level up, your allies attack, you deal 1 3 times to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. So which is to say she deal 3. Okay, and for her champion spell, Misfortunes Make It Rain. It's a fast spell which actually deal 1 to 3 different random enemies, and you shuffle Misfortune back into your deck. And so these are the 7 regions of Legends of Runeterra. Please leave down in the comments below to let me know which region you like and also which region do you wish to see me play. Okay, and that's it for today's video. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. See you!